Hello and welcome to FS Brew. FS Brew is the region's only podcast focused on insurance subject matter. This is our news with analysis episode after long. I'm Vidya, I'm the founder of Forward.
And I'm Ranjit. I'm a partner at Future You Strategy Group. And we can get straight away into the news items. We've picked a couple from the international arena and a couple from the region. So, first up, I can't believe it that a whole month has gone by. And
Correct.
last month, we had a US Insurtech, corgis are dogs, right? Barked its way up to a whopping $108 million funding round.
Nice.
So they're calling themselves an AI native carrier. So everybody wants to be associated with AI these days. So
Mm,
obviously they're doing the same. So really focused on insurance for startups. And they've got the regulatory green lights to go full stack. Co-founded by Nico Lacroix, the founder of a gaming company, and Emily Yuan. They're part of the Y Combinator, pretty credible founders. And they want to create the first AI native full stack insurance carrier. So it's a carrier, just like Lemonade. It's not just a
wow.
tech company and very focused on startups at the moment. Backers are Y Combinator and Kindred Ventures. And there's a lot of big money gone in for this, right? So basically, streamlining underwriting and claims for high risk ventures like startups, covering IP theft and team expansions, resulting issues that come up here, and so on and so forth. This is a funding landscape that has slowly come back. Shortex, I think obviously the AI startups have taken over the news cycle, but good to see startups, InsurTech startups also making some dough here in terms of fundraise. And I think their stated objective is that use AI to slash, loss ratios by up to 25% through predictive algorithms and Gen AI and so on and so forth. Wake up call for traditional insurers, either adopt these technologies or partner with these disruptors, or you could risk losing to them. Any thoughts, Vidya?
No, interesting. I think hopefully this will have a ripple effect, as you said, in terms of funding on the insurtech companies out here in the Middle East region and generally in the whole APAC region. It typically starts off with mature countries like US and UK having to have confidence in the sector to finally seep that through. So hoping to see that ripple effect coming into our space as well, Ranjit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even in GCC, we have seen some deals like Credible X raised,
Hmm.
was it over a $50 million for SME lending? And they are doing some partnerships. Yeah. So the focus seems to be all on businesses, mid-sized businesses and freelance businesses, so on and so forth. So
Nice.
it could be interesting for some of our free zone hubs like Silicon Oasis or ADGM. They could create packaged products for these startups, especially as this market is growing. So it's time for some of the local investors to back similar AI.
Yes. And I think that would be a good start to start in terms of investing within the fintech space where it's a lot more tech driven versus, let's say, startups that are dictated a lot by regulatory boundaries. Yeah. And look forward to seeing some of those coming through this region.
Yeah.
Great. And sticking to this region, recently Central Bank put out, I think, a phase two of the whole licensing framework. If you recollect, they did that last year with a lot more of regulation in terms of how can you collect premium and so on. So they have tightened regulations within that. So they've got a lot more detailed around being fit for proper on the governance expectation, tighter on how broker structure works in terms of their relationship with insurers and reinsurers and so on. And there's a higher bar on reporting and documentation. So there's a whole new clarity in terms of the regulations that's come through for specifically around the brokers. So there's a lot more. You can see the regulator wanting to do a cleaner, tech ready, that sort of a market, insurance market within the wider GCC. And you can see that in case as well, when the whole movement from SAMA to Insurance Authority, when it went into Insurance Authority, you could see the market maturing. And I think you will see a lot more consolidation waves potentially, or maybe a lot more of innovative solutions coming through with all the regulations tightening through. Any thoughts
Absolutely.
from your end?
Absolutely. I think an interesting thing that you pointed out there before was about the MGAs as well, right?
Yeah.
So now that you're getting more approvals to set up MGAs, and given that open finance is also starting, which means
Yes.
new business models can be created by these MGAs bringing reinsurance capacity, and so some unique products could be seen in the market. So that could be quite interesting.
Yes, indeed, indeed, because they come with that, as you rightly said, that reinsurance capacity, which is a bit of a gap in the region, and they also bring their tech stack, and that's one of the requirements from the regulator as well, that you've got to have a robust tech stack as an MGA to be able to operate here fully. And with the open finance coming through, one would see a lot more innovative products in the market. Will there be a further uptake from a customer side? Is the area that all the players have to work through. So one should not just focus on tech, they should move on customer adoption now itself. Yeah.
Yeah. And going international again, we have this news about the Advanced Technology Assurance Limited, which raised, I think, about $50 million insurance facility, or rather launched this facility. And basically, they're targeting a new set of risks that have come up because of AI. We are seeing
Right.
a number of AI data centers being set up and a lot of infrastructure coming into play. And with that comes its own set of risks. The global AI bills is in the region of $3 to $7 trillion, depending on
Wow.
who you talk to. And this means the risks on data center uptime, the chips, the power grids, the cyber attacks, energy failures, and so forth. This Advanced Technology Assurance Limited began as Sky Risks in 2023. They were an MGA, or they basically started providing PNC insurance coverage for emerging technologies like AI infra, data centers, semiconductors. And as this AI demand kind of skyrockets, this is a specialty line where there's definitely a gap, and these kind of players are coming to fill in. And apparently, Moody's says the potential for premiums to grow by 40% yearly. So
Mm.
this
Wow.
is very interesting, and you can see a lot of these silent cyber attacks coming up where all
Yeah.
eggs are in one data center basket, and you need risk coverage for this, right?
Yeah. Indeed. And I think the whole parametric model around this cyber attack is one that is evolving in our region as well. We saw a local Insurtech getting funded recently, that specific space itself. But also going back to our stint, we saw how a lot of climate-based risks are constantly evolving, and there are lots of mitigation strategies and solutions that are out there as well. So it's a very fascinating space as AI evolves. A lot of innovative solution around that comes through as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like this region is immune from these kind of infrastructure risks.
Yeah.
Investments are supposed to be in the region of billions. Just this couple of
Yes.
years, UAE is doing that mega project like Stargate. That's supposed to
Yes.
be 8 to 10 billion with partners like G42, Microsoft, OpenAI. And
Yeah.
Saudi is doing it in a big way with their Humane
Yeah.
AI. So this facility could really unlock a lot of coverage for local markets. And see, if you look at UAE, their AI strategy is really accelerating the push. We have seen the Falcon AI models and the Abu Dhabi investment. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for local underwriters to insure some of these new data centers. This is definitely an area to watch, and we'll see if there are some local insurtechs who take advantage of this development.
And talking about Saudi, there's a nice news coming through from the Saudi market. Zain KSA, which is a very popular leading telecom company, their investment arm, which is Al Sadd, they bought a JV majority stakes into a brokerage called Green Shield Insurance Broker. Now, what that means, they can tap into their 20 million subscribers and distribute embedded micro insurances like your PA covers and so on nicely into their ecosystem itself. Now, that's pretty game changing. And also, we've seen that if you have a skin in the game from a telecom company and having that level of base, there will be a really strong uptake from insurance product point of view. And generally, I think we've seen a lot more innovation coming through from the Saudi market, especially after the whole setup of insurance authority as a standalone entity. Earlier, there were smaller pilots, they were simmering and testing with products, but now we can see that whole script sort of flipping. And as Ranjit, the whole market is so buoyant. The penetration is sub 2%, but that the level of population that they have and the variety and the dynamics of or the demographics of the people, the type of products that one can create through is very exciting as a market. And hopefully there will be a reverse domino effect from Saudi. It comes into the UAE as well. And there are a lot of ecosystem players like Zain KSA, starting with obviously Etisalat. And Etisalat has it, but we've seen that the uptake has not been very exciting from the telco point of view. But there are other platforms like Talabat and Kareem's and so on, hopefully picking this up. But the game changer is it has to have a skin in the game.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And this is sort of part of the wider, what do you say, the trend.
Vision, yeah, Vision
Sure,
2030.
the vision part is important. I think most of these governments have a vision of increasing penetration, but
Yeah,
at the same time, we know that distribution is the key thing here. So
yeah,
when you partner with these players like Zain, Etisalat, or Kareem, you get that distribution, and that's probably the next wave. And I'm sure the regulators have to be open to allowing more of these partnerships without putting the rules like you have to have a broker in the mix or you have to have so much money in the bank and stuff like that. I'm sure there's a middle path that will help.
yeah, indeed. And also, when you have multiple players in between, when you have large entities like your Etisalat and Zain, they would not take up something like an insurance, which is constantly a push product quite easily into their operational mix. And as you rightly said, they have to streamline this process. And then you can straight away see that the whole penetration percentage jumps up because it's a lot easier to sell from telco point of view, and there is a stickiness to it.
Correct, correct. I
Yeah.
think it's worth studying in a later episode as to what's the real uptake of this embedded insurance play. We have seen Amazon has the insurance, gadget protection insurance from Salama.
Yeah.
Etisalat has its home insurance, and Do has
Yeah.
its own sort of, and even Kareem Super App allows you to take insurance. And I think VO has some linkage with Shori. It's worth studying actually customers pressing that button and taking that journey.
Yes.
Probably we need to dive deeper with some of these insurance partner leads.
Correct. So my understanding is they are below 5%. At the very worst, it's below 1%.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's not
that's
really a big success.
exactly. So it's not been a successful thing because, again, it's not a very exciting product. So you've got to keep
Yeah,
the engagement going. You've got to find consistent ways to push this product into the customer's life, which means a lot more investment of time, resources, and so on. So obviously the question for the player is what's in it for me in the sense of the whole unit economics. So the
yeah,
unit economics has to make sense in all of this, especially for the big players to make this work.
right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our summary, Ranjit, and love listening to this. For four punchy stories for the month of Jan. We hope to put this together for the month of February. Any closing thoughts?
No, this has been good. I think we want to continue doing more of this. And here's the thing: if you, as a listener, have been a silent lurker, it's time to come out into the open and support us. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, click that
Yes,
and follow the show on Spotify and Apple. That all helps us to first find great listeners like yourselves. The algorithm does that. Second thing is it encourages us to produce more of this content. Come out into the open.
indeed.
All
Great. Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Catch you next
Thanks
time.
for listening.